hopefully you can hear me. I know you probably can't see me very well, but I am not happy to say the least. I'm all in pink. I don't know what's going on. I set everything up from my office and there was no signs. I mean, I didn't have the camera going then. I came out here, turned everything on, and it's all pink. And I've tried to fiddle around to see if it was something my end. It's nothing wrong my end. It's something going on somewhere else. So I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm hoping this is just going to sort itself out and we'll make the most of it. And we'll just have to have a laugh with it. Hopefully you can hear me all okay. And we'll see what happens. Right. Yeah. Hello and welcome everybody. Hope you are all having a great day. It's Sunday the 31st of December 2023. It's the final day of 2023. Happy New Year to everybody. And today we're going to have a bit of a get to know you, which is ridiculous when I'm covered in pink, but nonetheless we will make the most of it. We're going to try and get to know each other and see what happens. So first of all, let's see if anybody is out there. First of all, Adrian is out there saying hello to Richard and all. Hello to you. Ballycillian is out there saying hello everyone. Good evening to you. We have got Gary saying, evening gardeners, happy new year to you all. Good evening to you. Stuart Jackson is there saying, evening Richard and Veg Army, happy new year to you all. Good evening to you. Turbo Stream is out there saying, good evening Veg podcasters, good evening to you. We have got Scott Ambler out there saying, good evening all. Good evening to you. We've got Jenny out there saying, hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Happy new year. Full of fun, gardening, plentiful harvests and tasty meals. Happy New Year to you too, and hello and welcome. Kate Spratt is out there saying good evening Veg Army, good evening to you. We got Digwell saying hello all, good evening to you. Greg is out there saying happy new year all, good evening to you. Bethan is out there saying evening all, hope everyone has had a good week and wishing you all a great 2024. Good evening to you. Muddy Boots is out there saying happy new year all, good evening to you. Stuart says can see and hear you okay this end. Oh, that is a relief. Bethan says you're not pink here. That is a relief. That is a huge relief. I had the last few minutes of panicking as to why I'm seeing myself in pink, but if it's going out to you guys, that is fine. I can live with that. Andrew Norris is out there. Evening Richard and the Veg Army, just in the process of cooking much from my own garden. Fantastic. What are you cooking out there? I'm colourblind, says Nigel. This is interesting because all I see is pink. Andrew says pink suits you. Turbo Stream, not in pink here. Very low res though. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should. I mean, the signal is dropped a little bit. Let me just check the resolution. It should be high definition, although not full HD, 720, whatever it's called. The only pink is the stripe light at the back. Well, that's good, but I was going to put that onto rainbow if it would change over. We'll see what happens. Turbo Stream, Nigel, good job. I wasn't colourblind. I used to work at the printers, indeed. And Digwell says, yes, very blurry. I think that it's just due to signal problems. It is, of course, quite windy and wet out there. We'll make the most of it. We'll make the most of it and see what happens. What else? Andrew says, I'm cooking traditional pork for the last day of the year. It's what one does in Croatia. Interesting, interesting. Right. Hope, as I've said, I know there's a lot of bad weather going on out there, and I'm hoping that you haven't had any damage. If you have, let us know what damage you've suffered. I don't know if this storm had a name, but we have had a storm come through, and it is been pretty harsh. The only damage I've noticed is my greenhouse door somehow blew open overnight last night. When I went to close it, it didn't close properly. The door was out of alignment. So I've got to fix that at some point soon as well. Now anyway, as I said, tonight it's going to be a night that I think, because it's New Year's, we're probably in a bit of a celebration mood. Not really gardening at the top of our sort of thoughts at the moment, although come tomorrow that all changes. But what I want to find out from I want to get everybody to sort of, let's all find out about each other and get to know you all. Now, of course, if you've got any questions you want to ask everybody, then please feel free. I've written a few questions that I have thought of, but I'll respond with you as well. So the first question that I want to know, and if you don't feel comfortable answering any of these questions, don't feel you have to. Just put up there, I plead the fifth or something, so we know you'll want to not answer that question. But the first question is, what is your first name and where are you from? Now, I know this might be a bit of a silly question. I'm sure most of us know our names, but there are a few people. I think it's good to get a good idea who you are, where you're from, and so on. So obviously, as you know, my name is Richard. I'm from Littlehampton in West Sussex. And I can't say any more than that, can I, really? So Kate says, looks a little blurry, but not pink, although you would rock that, Richard. Thank you. Thank you. To me, I've just got a pink screen, so God knows what's going on there. Idaho has joined. Hello everybody, I am on the road, so not chatting. Where are you off to, Idaho? Obviously easier to say that when you can't chat. Hope you're having a good time anyway. Idaho says hello Richard and everyone in the chat. Adrian says hello to Idaho. Kate says I think the storm was called Storm Pain in the... I agree. I've had enough of this bad weather. I don't know about you, but I have had enough of this bad weather. I don't mind it being cold, I just want some dry, non-windy days, and that for me was annoying about December, even November, to be honest. What have we got next? Andrew says sunny and dry in Croatia, heading into the village in a week to prune the fruit trees. Any advice? Start with dead, diseased and damaged branches first and then go for shape. After that, that would be my advice. Tomo Stream, no damage on my plot, just very saturated ground. Leave him well alone. I agree. All right, Nigel Moneyboot says he's Nigel from Wolves. There we go. Andrew says he's Andrew from Croatia. Kate says I'm Kate and I'm from Nottingham. There we go. Turbo Stream says Adrian from Birmingham. Good evening. So Rebecca has joined in the Facebook group. She says, Happy New Year, Richard. Happy New Year, gang, from Rebecca. We're asking a few questions to get to know each other a bit better. Digwell says his first name is Lord from Dursley, so he's brought the title Lord, which basically just changes your first name to Lord. Stuart Jackson says, Stuart, I'm from a little village called Minity, North Wiltshire. I hope I pronounced that right. Minity. Always a bit confusing. Ballycillian says, Lawrence from Northern Ireland. There we go. I think I knew your first name, but it's nice to get it confirmed. Bethan says, Bethan from Wales, but currently living in Suffolk. What caused the move from Wales to Suffolk, can I ask? Drive carefully. Is that why you have 7 fingers on each hand, says Digwell to Stuart. Scott says, Scott from Leeds, West Yorkshire, but live in Cambridge now. Fantastic. Greg says, Greg, a Yorkshireman in Broomsgrove now. Fantastic. Good to see. Stuart says, 1 broken glass panel in my greenhouse, so got away with it, I think. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Nothing worse than getting broken glass from a greenhouse, especially at this time of year. Jenny says, I am Jenny and I am from Leicestershire near the Rutland border. I almost wanted to say I'm Jenny from the block there for some reason. Who knows? Adrian says he's Adrian from Suffolk. Fantastic. Turbo Stream says, Lord Digwell of Dursley, I doff my hat to you, sir. I know my place. Indeed. No, not purchased. My first name is Lord, second name Stephen. Oh, okay. I take back what I said earlier then. I misspoke. And apologies for that. Brian's Garden Polytunnel says, hi all, good evening to you. And Stuart Jackson says, pot calling kettle. Good there. And Gary says, I'm Gary from Somerset. Oh, and we've got Rachel and Steve Ticehurst, mostly Steve. I use the allotment for book reading. He does things with a veg. We are from the dodgier part of West Sussex. I know exactly where they are. I wouldn't say it's dodgier, but I know what they mean. Adrian says, Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Hi from a fellow resident. Bethan says, I moved to Colchester to work backstage at the Mercury Theatre and met my husband and stayed around the Colchester area. One day I hope to return to Wales. Few people seem to be moving back to Wales, I've heard. I know the price of land in Wales is cheap as well. So my next question, again, don't feel you have to answer this. You can plead the fifth if you don't want to, is how old are you? I know it's a very personal question. And again, you can just do a rough age if you want. So I personally, I'm 41, born in 1982, as you can tell. I'll be 42 this year, and that makes me, I believe, a millennial, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, not much more I can say about that. I certainly don't feel 41, but I certainly think when now I'm at this sort of age, and many of you may agree with me when you found yourself in the 40s, is that not that you feel life is getting upon you, but you've spent your younger years chasing the pound coin to get where we are now, and now we're starting to ease back a little bit and just make the most of what time we have. I'm not really after the overtime at work anymore, because my time, my personal time, is far more important to me. So Digwell says 67 2 days ago. Happy birthday for 2 days ago, Digwell. I never knew you were 67. I'll be honest. I thought you were much younger. Kate says I'm 39. Similar sort of age group as me then. Brian's Garden Polytunnel. I'm a 69-year-old fart. I didn't know you were 69 either. I thought you were much younger. There we go. Money Boots says I'm 68 years young. I thought you were younger as well. There seems to be a pattern coming here. All the youngsters, all the people I thought were young are not as young as I thought. Scott's 39. Adrian's 69. Jenny's 42. 1981 was the year the world was blessed, indeed. Stuart Jackson says the village is browned mine tea. I'm a very young 60 at that. Mine tea. There we go. Ballycillian says 61, almost 62. When's your birth? How long? Don't want you to write your birth date, but how many weeks until you are 62? Andrew says, Andrew is 63 and I'm so glad I'm no longer 20 or 30 or 40. 50 was good, but I'm happy where I am. Indeed. Bethan's also wishing Digwell a happy birthday. Gary says, I'm 37. Turbo Stream says he's 54. How rude to ask a gentleman his age. Apologies. It's as I said, just want to try and get to know everybody a little bit better. Few, I thought I was the granddaddy here, says Digwell. Obviously not. Obviously not. Margaret Peacock, hi all from a COVID field, Dad and Margaret. Yeah, my dad and Margaret have got COVID at the moment, so they're sitting at home, making the most of their time at home. Digwell says all this fresh veg keeps us young. I agree. I agree. It certainly does. Bethan says 42. I agree with Jenny. The world was indeed blessed in 1981. Hargrave Gas says just dropping in as I'm something carrying. Oh, here he goes. As I'm at someone else's house, I can't stay. I've just turned 62. Happy birthday for your 62nd birthday as well. Nice to see you anyway. Brian's Garden Polytunnel. To be honest, Steve, I thought you were a lot younger. Yeah, I thought you were all a lot younger. Bethan, we are a gift, says those born in 1981. Well, that makes 1982 the cherry on top of the cake. 9th of February. Right, remind us nearer the time and we'll get a happy birthday out there for you. Muddy Boot says it's just a number, mate. I agree, it is just a number. When was the last time you were called a gentleman? Idaho says she's 70. Wow. I thought you were much younger than that. That's amazing. Amazing. Fantastic. Fantastic. Hi, IGG. And Timer Stream. According to my Garmin Watch VO2 Max, my fitness age is 26. Does anybody else know their fitness age? And mine is probably going to be horrendous these days. I was talking to, I met an old friend of mine actually. We used to do kickboxing together, and I sort of said, since I don't do kickboxing anymore, but when I used to do kickboxing, it was one of my favourite sports for real, getting you motivated for exercise. And since doing it, I've not found anything quite as good, and I know my fitness level is nowhere near what it was when I was doing that. I've just realised I haven't quite closed this door properly. It's why I'm getting a bit of background noise and feeling a bit of a drop in the air. What else? What is we got? Andrew is saying, isn't it interesting that we are all pretty much on the mature spectrum? Where are the young gardeners? It's interesting that we got two age groups, those of us that are around our 40s and those of us that are in our late 60s. There's a odd few people in between, of course, but that seems like the rough age groups here. Bethan looks much younger than 42. I agree. I completely agree. And Time Stream says, Nigel, it definitely needs calibration. Talking about that. Or just wind it up. It stopped 30 years ago. Talking about the fitness age. Indeed. Bethan says, thank you so much. I noticed Richard didn't say that to me. That's because I've known you for quite a while, Bethan, and had a rough idea of your age anyway. So that's why. But I agree, you look younger than you are. My Garmin says my fitness age is 20. There we go. Interesting. Brian says Nigel is right. Age is just a number. I agree. I do actually agree that age is just a number. I've known people who are the same age as me who are basically so tired come a weekend or whatever that they have no life. Jenny says, I will say my two teenagers enjoy gardening and help me. Hope they keep their interest. Indeed, I hope they keep their interest too. So my next question, and this is going to be a bit of a different question, is what is your favourite film? For me, I've got two films that fall into that category. The first one is Smokey and the Bandit. Loved that film as a child. I'm actually getting a tattoo of it pretty soon. Always dreamt of having the car that Bandit drives, and if you know the film, you know what I'm talking about. That's my favourite film since childhood. But then there's also the Rocky films as well, not the Creed films, the Rocky films. Sylvester Stallone, also some of my favourite films as well. I quite often just binge watch all of the Rocky films in one go just to enjoy it. So my favourite films, yeah, Smokey and the Bandit and Rocky. What else have we got? Stuart Jackson is saying, I'm trying to teach the young people. They are between 5 and 11, so I'm doing my bit. Indeed. Kate says, my fitness age is 51. I'm sure that's not true. At all. Alison O'Brien says, evening all. I'm sure my fitness age is not good. I am going to join a gym which will help with my weight. You know what? I'm on a mission at the moment to lose weight as well. I was doing it before Christmas. I was still been a bit good, but with my food, that is. But come New Year, come tomorrow, I'm really making a concentrated effort to lose my weight. I think I said before, nearly 17 stone. I wasn't happy. I want to get back down to 13, 14 stone is my plan at the moment. Mostly through eating better, but also trying to do a bit more exercise. Just got to find the right exercise. Digwell says Star Wars and Hobbit / Lord of the Rings are his favourite film. I've got a confession, I've not watched Hobbit or Lord of the Rings ever. It's one of those films I really should watch. I knew Star Wars was going to be one of Digwell's favourite films. Kate says Monty Python's Life of Brian. That's a good good film. I haven't seen that for quite a while though, but yeah, I like it a lot. Moneybit says Shawshank Redemption and The Great Escape, the original. Yeah, the originals in most films, the originals are always the best. Turbo Stream says I'm currently doing a 4-mile daily walk to try and recover from long COVID. Excuse me, in 2021. Yeah, I know how you. I didn't suffer from long COVID, but you're doing your best to recover. Um, good stuff. Good stuff. I have loads of favourite films, all action. What would be one or two top favourite films? The Quiet Man says from with starring John Wayne, I think. Says Ballycillian Allotment Man. Andrew Norris says A Canterbury Tale from 1944. Favourite film since 1989. Fantastic. Fantastic film. Toby Stream says fab film would be Cannibal Run from 1984 and Goodnight Mr. Tom. I used to love Cannibal Run as well. From Burt Reynolds, of course, was in it, and it even mentions the Pontiac Trans Am in that. I think I did see a Pontiac Trans Am in it as well. My favourite car by far. Idaho says my favourite film is Braveheart. Good film. Good film. Mel Gibson, if I'm not mistaken. Hargrave Gas, Barbarella. Is that the Pamela Anderson film? Or was that Barbed Wire? Can't remember. Barbarella, Dead Poets Society, and Wise Blood are my top 3. Good films, good films. Favourite film, that is a hard one. Dirty Dancing, Shawshank Redemption, Three Men and a Little Lady, but I could write a long list of brilliant classics, Star Wars, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, it was trying to find your favourite film is a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? When there's so many good films out there. But there we go. Stuart Jackson says my favourite film is The Great Escape. That's interesting that we've had 2 for The Great Escape and 2 for Shawshank Redemption. There we go. My second favourite film is Last of the Mohicans, says Idaho. Oh, great stuff. Hargrave Guest says Barbarella is Jane Fonda. Okay, I was mistaken on that. I don't think I've ever watched Barbarella, but I will have to make a point of watching that too. Scott says Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Lord of the Rings, mostly films based on books I like. Do you think, and I'm going to throw this out there as another question to you, that when it comes to films that are based on books, the books are better than the films, or vice versa? What do you think? Jenny says, oh, good night, Mr. Tom. I love that film, but I'm in tears every time. I've never watched that, I'll be honest, but yeah, I'll have to take your word on that. Digwell says, I like every film mentioned so far, says Digwell. That sounds great. Yeah, there are some good films there. Bethan's Kitchen and Garden says, Julie and Julia. I've never heard of that film, I'll be honest, but interesting. Andrew says, great selection of films from everyone. Indeed, indeed it is. So we're going to stick with that theme. I've already asked a question about whether films based on books are as good as the book or vice versa. But that seems like a good opportunity to also segue another question in is, do you have a favourite book? And I'm going to make this a non-gardening book because I might ask the favourite gardening book later on as well. I'm going to make a note of that just to remind myself. But your favourite book? For me, one of my favourite books, it's fairly modern to be fair, it was Mud, Sweat and Tears by Bear Grylls. It was a story of his, or a book about his life, and I honestly picked that book up and I could not put it down. Really, I felt like I could hear his voice reading out to me when I was reading it, and it kind of got me interested in him as a person. And that's why if you ever come into my front room, into my hallway, sorry, I've got a picture of Bear Grylls with a signed letter from when Amanda and I got married, all based on the back of that book. Hargrave Gas says, agreed on books. Whilst I love Wise Blood the film, the book by Flannery O'Connor is much better. fantastic. Yeah, again, not sure on those. Scott says books 100%, but very difficult turning books into film. I think they make better series. I have to agree, actually. I think the same. The thing with books is there's a lot of your imagination is worked up better in a book, and there's a lot of things that the book can say that you either need a narrator to say on a on the film or something. A book, I feel, just adds a bit more to it, doesn't it? Yeah. Stuart Jackson says, I think the book is better as you have to use your imagination. I have to agree. Greg Miller, from my childhood, my favourite film is Short Circuit. As an adult, too many to choose from. Short Circuit, I used to love that film as a child as well. There's a guy I follow on Facebook that's actually created a replica of Johnny Five I follow. And amazing what he's done. What have we got? Money Boot says, only read non-fiction, so the list is endless. What's your favourite book, though? Richard Golden says, hello, Richard. Thursday Murder Club. Thursday Murder Club. Is that a book or film? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that. We're trying to get to know everybody a bit better tonight, so please feel free to join in. Toby Storm says, I don't read books these days, but my favourite as a child was Danny, Champion of the World, but the film was rubbish. I can't say I've read or watched those, but I'll take your word on it. Brian Garden and Polytunnel says, my favourite book I first read as a youngster. The book and the film with Robert Newton have remained my favourite. Are we missing something there? Oh yeah, it goes on to say Treasure Island, sorry. Yeah, Treasure Island. I used to love that book as a child. Really enjoyed that too. The best book I have read, said Stuart, is The Last Tommy, an amazing true story about a normal man. Fantastic. I think I've seen that book. Books are always better than films. Fav books have to be Harry Potter. Agree, yeah. I really enjoyed the Harry Potter books too. There was something about how she wrote those books. She seemed to capture what it was to be like to be a child. That's what I liked about it. Rebecca says, sorry I've missed this. Busy preparing a buffet for later tonight. Still listening. I've so many favourite books I wouldn't know where to begin. I love reading. Good stuff. Good stuff. Digwet says, I, Robot, Isaac Asimov, considered to be the father of modern robotics, safety logic, all from this novel. Yes, that is a good book too. I've read that as well. Blair Main, Life Story. I've not seen that one or read that one, but I'll take your word on it. A book by Richard Osman, says Richard Golding. Excellent. And Bethan says Thursday Murder Club is awesome. Not read the latest. Waiting to borrow it from my sister. Excellent stuff. Jenny says Death on the Nile. I've read it so many times. Fantastic. Nicholas says, sorry I'm late. Not a problem. We're trying to get to know each other a little bit better tonight. Scott says books, Song of Ice and Fire series, Game of Thrones, Mortal Engines, Harry Potter, mostly fantasy. Fantastic. Got to say, the books, Song of Ice and Fire, we never did get a conclusion to that, did we? Ever. Ian Meadows says, sorry, late again this week. Ian, happy birthday. I know it's your birthday today, so happy birthday to you. I'm trying to keep an idea when everybody's birthday is so we can try and wish everyone happy birthday. Scott says Harry Potter books are awesome. Taking my kids to the Harry Potter studio tour tomorrow. So excited. I did that a few years ago. Great stuff. Play Knockdown Ginger on Harry Potter's front door. I did it for a laugh. Kate says Thursday Murder Club book. Good book. So I think a lot of people seem to like that. I have to check that out. Turbo Stream says, I am reading a book on a local railway, the Herborn branch line, as it's now a cycle route. It's interesting to see where the old stations were. Yeah, I think all these old stations that were closed down is such a good part of our history that is going on there. So We've done that. Next question I'm going to ask you is, what other hobbies do you have? Apart from obviously gardening and allotment tiering. I've got to admit, I'm one of these people. I get interested in a lot of things and try and do too much in one go. So I've got quite a few hobbies. I think after vegetable gardening, my next hobby I would have to say is probably photography. I'm really getting into my photography. I can't say I'm the best at it because of not having the patience, but I really do enjoy my photography. After that, we've also got, for me, I play the guitar. I've got an electric guitar I've had since I was 13 years old. I don't play it enough, but I pick it up every now and then. And I'm trying to sort of give myself a bit of time once a day to try and play that. Woodwork as well is a bit of a hobby of mine. Don't do enough of it though, because I'm always got too many things to do and so many things in the way. But this is when when I was furloughed during that time, just not that many years ago now, was it? Um, I was I was really enjoying being furloughed, as lazy as that sounds, because I was just able to go and do so many hobbies and be productive with my time. So, yeah, just a few for what we did. Just a few hobbies that I'm interested. There's probably loads more hobbies I can come up with, but those are a few that I'm into at the moment. Nicholas says, I'm not really a huge book fan, but I love gardening books and films. We're going to get into gardening books a little bit later on, but what was your favourite film was a question we asked earlier. Richard Golden says, Scott, look for the We're Alive podcast. I'll look into that. Digwell's hobbies are Lego and photography. Fantastic. Kate says, I crochet, knit and photography. I've seen Kate as well on Facebook getting involved in a lot of things. I've seen her doing axe throwing in the past as well, just to warn everyone. Greg says, the book I want to read again is We Die Alone. It's even better than the film, The 12th Man. To appreciate some of what the soldier went through was mind blowing for me. Yeah, I always find those sort of books really compelling when you find out more about what's going on in people's minds. Money Meets photography, guitar, cucumbers, computers, and walking/rambling. I forgot to say I do a lot of walking and rambling as well. Obviously, we have the dogs, so we have to walk out regularly. Something off topic. Homebase own seeds, £1 a pack, buy one get one free, so works out for 50p a packet. If anybody is after some bargains. Ian Beddoes, Model Railways about to remodel part for next year. Fantastic. Look forward to, please do share some photos of that. Facebook, Rebecca, my hobbies are reading, swimming, try to go every day, and obviously gardening. I enjoy my leisure time. It's a shame work gets in the way. I'm with you. I really am with you on that. You know, as lazy as it sounds, I really enjoy my own personal time. That's why I don't do as much overtime anymore, because I don't need the money. I want to have more time to do what I enjoy doing. Make the most of our life that we are on this planet for. Stuart, another book is The First Day of the Somme, 1st of July 1916. Fantastic. Jenny says, does drinking coffee count as a hobby? I'd certainly do that a lot. Turbo Stream says, hobbies, cycling and hill and coastal walking and photography. Fantastic. Brian Garden Polytunnel says, I can no longer do the hobbies I loved, fishing and camping. That's such a shame. That's such a shame. But at the same time, it sort of proves to me why I was saying earlier that I'm not doing as much overtime, because I want more leisure time while I still can. I don't know if you would agree with this, Brian, but would have you loved to spend more time doing the things that you loved while you could? Sorry if I'm off the off piece there, but it's just my current thoughts. Stuart says, I wish I had more time for other hobbies. Gardening and plant sales seem to keep me busy. Yeah. Okay, says, yeah, axe throwing too, indeed. Bethan, swimming, reading, doing jigsaws, reading about history, cooking and walking. Indeed. These are all hobbies that a lot of us are into. It's interesting how similar all our hobbies are as well. Scott says, other hobbies. I was into flying FPV drones and RC planes. I'm very tempted to buy a metal detector and get into metal detecting. Fantastic. Fireworks are going off. Um, fantastic. Hargrave Gas. I like going to gigs, mainly elderly punk bands. That and watching the mighty Bristol Rovers. Fantastic. Fantastic. I didn't see you as a punk band, a rocker, but hey, that's cool. That's cool. Idaho says, I'm an insect collector, an entomologist, also a rock collector. I'd love to be out collecting rocks and collecting insects, and I'd love to watch birds, so I'm a bird watcher. Fantastic. Fantastic. Ballysilian says gambling. Um, have you ever won big on the gambling? Digwell says, my photos have had 413 views on Pexels with thousands of downloads. So you're on the free stock images, are you there? On the stock images. Excellent stuff. Greg Miller, Scott, have you watched The Detectorists? Dare I say, yes, I have as well. Good laugh that was. Yes, I absolutely have, and my favourite TV program. Have watched them over 1 million times. Brian says, I'm not complaining. I got well into my hobbies when I was able to. Absolutely, absolutely. Digwell says, so you know the other Rovers supporter then, a club of two. Ooh. Greg says, it's up there for me. I'm watching it again, much to the annoyance of my wife. Indeed, indeed. Now, something that we did mention throughout that time was collection. I think it was Idaho that says she collects rocks and things like that. But does anybody else collect anything? Do you have something that you collect? Now, my collection is going to be, or what I tend to collect, apart from junk, of course, and plants and plant pots and stuff like that. I have a collection. It's in a toolbox that I keep in on top of my wardrobe. It's knives. I've got a bit of a collection of knives, survival knives, multi-tools, machetes, that sort of thing. And for me, they are a tool. Knives are a tool, and they are something that I think that are blamed too easily, but in the right hands are a fantastic tool. Yeah, that's what I collect myself. Well, Kate says, I think my biggest hobby is trying new things. So if there's an activity I haven't done, I'll try it. I've seen that. I have actually seen that on Facebook. It always amazes me, or I always wonder what you're up to next. But it's good. It is good. As I said, we're only on this planet for a short time. Got to make the most of it while we can. Jenny says, I'm very interested in how pagans lived and worked with nature. Stone circles, how we have forgotten to connect with the earth, etc. I do read about that and research. Fantastic. Yes. Quite a few stone circles around my part of the world as well, and things like that. And hill forts as well. Nicholas says, my hobbies are the farm, like colouring plastic drink bottles as eye savers for tops of canes. Fantastic. Digwell collects Lego. Brian says I collect stamps, foreign and British. Kate says I collect cacti and succulents. Have you ever tried growing cacti or succulents from seed? They take a long, long time. Hargrave Gas says Joey Barton was sacked. All is good at my lovely little club once more. There we go. Nigel says baseballs from USA, Disney Christmas tree ornaments, 157 so far. Fantastic, fantastic. Nicola's, I think she's stuck back earlier on. She's Fab Film, had one after watch over and over again, many films, Pretty Woman, Mission Impossible films, Taken films. Ian Bennett says salt and pepper pots. Yes, because you gave me some. You remember you saying about this. Over 350 now. Also illuminated aircraft tails of airlines I've been on. Fantastic. Stuart Jackson says, I collect pin badges. I have over 60. I buy one everywhere I go. They are kept on a hat. Please do post a photo of that at some point as well. Toby Stream says, I have a few camping stoves, so I guess I collect camping stoves. I think I'm up to 6 so far. Yeah, I could say that as well then. Digwell says to Brian, I used to have an extensive collection of Mackins. Sold them when times are hard, made a fair bit. Bethan says, I don't collect now, but I have Star Wars models in my loft from when I was younger. Got a Boba Fett spaceship and an AT-AT up there. Don't tell Digwell that. He'll be right there after them. Jenny says, I don't collect anything, but I do have a lot of dust around the place. Yeah, we all have that. We all have that. Digwell says to Hargrave, used to love going to the Eastfield Sunday market. Hargrave says, I collect Gromit figurines sold to raise funds for Bristol Children's Hospital. I have over 60 so far. Fantastic. Of course, I collect photos and memories on my travels. Indeed. Nigel says, I'm surprised nobody mentioned weeds. We don't collect them. They just appear, don't they? I'm leaving now. I told you. He was on his way. I collect seeds, says Nicola. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. So we don't collect them. Right. So the next one. I tell you what. The next three questions are going to be sort of quick, and it's going to be what you prefer out of the two options I give you. So the first option is tea or coffee. Which one do you prefer? For me, I much prefer coffee. I can't stand tea most of the time. Occasionally I get a craving for tea and we'll drink it, but on a whole, it's coffee for me. I do sometimes drink the odd herbal tea as well, rosemary tea or lemon balm tea or something like that. But that's more medicinal reasons than anything. But yeah, on a whole, I much prefer coffee than anything else. Nicola says she's a tea drinker. Bethan says a tea. Jenny says coffee. Ballycillian says tea. Scott says herbal tea. Nigel says coffee. I hate tea. Hargrave Gas, coffee. Digwell says coffee. Greg says, I'm trying to keep and collect killifish. It's a cheap hobby with fish that have fascinating ways to reproduce. Some with eggs that need drying out for months. I've never heard of those. That sounds really, really interesting, Greg. Steve says coffee. Turbo Stream says both. Nicola says, can't drink coffee unless really weak, made with all milk. Indeed. Coffee comes second to red wine. Yeah. Digwa says, but I do grow my own herbal teas. Yeah, I'm with you with that. Brian says, I'm a big coffee drinker. No alcohol anymore. With you on that as well. Don't drink alcohol at all. Rebecca says, I'm a chamomile drinker. I think it's Rebecca anyway. I'm with you too. Stuart says tea. Greg says tea. And Kate says tea. Stuart says, yes, Greg, it must be Yorkshire. Talking about tea, I think. Yep. And Idaho says, believe it or not, I also collect ceramic figurines called pottery from the Isle of Lewis. Fantastic. So my next quick answer questions is dog or cat. Which one do you prefer? For me, I prefer the dog. I love obviously got my own dog, but I've always loved dogs. I've had cats in the past. For me, a dog is just much more my personality, I guess. I come home, she's happy to see me. So dog or cat, what is your preferred? Chili Kate has joined. Evening Veg Army, rolling in late with bellies full of curry. All three chilies love curry. Fantastic, fantastic. We're doing a get to know you, so I'm asking you all to answer a few questions so we can all get to know each other. At the moment, it's what is your preferred, dog or cat? Nicholas says, just bought some seeds for herb tea at home base, set them free for 50p. Scott says, dogs. Digwell says, I thought tea came from Ceylon and India, not Yorkshire. Steve says cat. Rebecca says cat. Bethan says cat. Nicola says cat. Hargrave Gas says cats by a country mile. Who wants to scoop up poop? Yes, you have a point there. I still prefer my dog. Turbo Stream says cat. Jenny says dog. Nigel says both dog and cat. A draw. Good enough. Greg says dogs love walking ours through the woods and taking in the surroundings. Absolutely right, yes. Digwa says dogs totally allergic to cat dander. Yeah. Ian Meadows miss our dog but have a house cat now. Sorry, I forgot about your dog. Yeah. Chillyfield, dog on our third rescue dog now. This one is a real idiot and a coffee addict here, indeed. Brian's garden, Polytunnel. My wife Monster has put me off dogs. I now prefer a rabbit. Yeah, rabbits are a bit easier, but I love my dog. Cat, Lily is our world, but not to leave out our pet tortoise Darwin and Axolotl Maya. Actually, that's a good question. I'll ask that in a minute, actually, next question. Chili Cake says, dog here. We have a Patterdale Terrier called Reggie. Fantastic. Stuart says, dog, but don't tell my daughter. She has been asking for years. Don't worry. All safe here. So the next question I have to ask you, and this is on subject, I guess. What is your favourite out of the allotment or the garden? Slightly subjective, I know, but it is on subject here. I find this a very difficult question to answer, I'll be honest. So I expect a bit of a dilemma. I find the garden is great for just being able to walk out the garden, harvest whatever I need to do, or quick jobs. But there's so many distractions, be it the wife, be it making a cup of tea, not so much TV, but computers and things. Whereas on the allotment, there's no distractions and it's much more social as well. So this is a tough one. I probably would lean more towards the allotment because the allotment is just for me. The garden is also for Amanda and the dog, although I pretty much have it. So yeah, what is your thoughts on that? Turbo Stream says, I don't like a barking dog, but like a well-behaved dog that doesn't jump up. I was attacked by a dog as a child, still scared of an aggressive dog. That's why when we got our dog, we got her from a puppy, because Amanda was also bitten as a child as well. And by getting her from a puppy, Amanda is absolutely fine with dogs now. But yeah, with you. I had a dog called Defer. D for dog. Fantastic. Gary says, coffee, dog and allotment. Nicholas says, mine's the same. Not sure what that is. Graham Arnold says, evening all, so late tonight. Not a problem. We're trying to get to know everyone. Muddy Boots summed it up perfectly, actually. Garden to relax, allotment to socialise. Yeah, I think that does sum it up nicely. Digra says, no preference. Each has a different use. Scott says, allotment for me. Hargrave Gas, love the proximity of the garden, can pop out for short periods more easily. Yeah, totally. Kate says, I'm going to be turning my garden into my allotment, best of both worlds. Fantastic. Steve says, garden was a life-saving during the early COVID times, but now allotment is possibly favourite as it's away from noise and traffic, making it quite relaxing. Good enough. Chili Cake says, love my allotment, but if our garden was bigger, I'd spend more time there. But I love being sociable at the allotment. This is a dilemma that I have as well. Even if I had a huge garden, I think I would still want an allotment for the social side. Buddy Soon says allotment. Stuart says has to be garden as I don't have an allotment, but yes, I would love one, but no chance around here. Nicholas says garden, allotment one and the same as on the farm. Yeah, but what would your favourite be? Toby Stream, love my garden, but equally love my allotment. It's somewhere to get a chance of scenery. Wish I could answer that one, but if my wish comes true this year, I will get an allotment, says Rebecca. Fingers crossed for you. Jenny says, both will be amazing, beautiful space created for us. Both will offer different things, each as wonderful as the other, indeed. Anna Jones joins saying, sorry I'm late, not a problem, we're just trying to get to know everyone a little bit better tonight. Greg says, garden has swing, slide and trampoline, mowing the lawn takes forever. I can't be asked to do anything else when I'm at the allotment. Fair enough. Chili Cat says, but the allotment is good for escaping from real life. As I said, it's a toss-up between what is best. It is a difficult one to answer, granted. Graham says dog and allotment, and Bethan says garden is much more convenient for me. Bethan, of course, gave up her allotment and moved everything to her garden, so that kind of does tally on with what we're saying. Toby Stream says I get to brew a coffee on my camp stove at my allotment low. And Anna Jones says only have a garden, so garden. Excellent, excellent. So before I get into some more gardening questions, I guess the next question I want to know is what pets do you have? I mean, we've sort of talked about that with the dog and cat question. This is not a choice of two question, it's just an open-ended question. For me, I have obviously Roxy, my dog, and then we have chickens as well. We used to have quail, but we've decided to, well, the quail have now passed on. We've got rid of the quail. Wasn't an easy decision. We just found they were producing more eggs than what we could eat. We weren't really eating the eggs, so we've moved back to just having the chickens. I am an animal lover, so I'd love lots of pets, but yeah, I've just got the chickens and the dog now. Digwell has tropical fish as a pet, which I used to keep tropical fish and cold water fish before I met Amanda, of course. I'm not allowed a pond here either because Waterworks and Amanda don't mix very well. But yeah, what pets do you have? Let us know that in the comments. Graham says 2 dogs, both Labradors. Lovely Labradors, aren't they? Very much family dogs, aren't they? Anna Jones has a Cocker Spaniel, a dog as well. Nicholas says, I can't choose as my allotment is on the farm alongside the garden. Brian says, I have an angelfish, much quieter than the wife's monster dog. What dog has she got? You've referenced it twice as a monster. What is it? Hargrave Gas says, usually have 2 cats, but just lost one, sadly. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. Also, foxes mean I'm down to 1 chicken as well. Other than that, do 2 teenage sons count? Yes, they do. Sorry to hear about your chickens. Those foxes are a pain at the moment because it's not cold enough for them to hibernate. Lily is a tortoise, domestic long-haired domestic long-haired cat. Darwin is a Horsfield tortoise, and Maya is an albino axolotl. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They are my babies. Money Boots, no pets now. Have a cat visit every day for some dreamies, and a black and white pigeon that comes for a feed in the past 10 months. Bethan says 1 cat, 5 chickens and a tortoise. That was meant to be my stepdaughter's, but we seem to be looking after it full time. It's always the way, isn't it? When kids get animals, we end up looking after them. Gary says we have a dog, Wilson, and 2 cockatiels. Fantastic. Turbo Stream says no pets. My neighbour's cat come round, so I get the benefit of cat spit without the responsibility. I feed them when my neighbour goes away, which I enjoy doing. Jenny says, I used to breed tropical fish. Now the sound of a fish tank pump haunts me. Indeed. Chili Kate says, we also have fish, down to just 1 at the moment, but we've given the aquarium a queen this afternoon to restock. We have a pond too, but also a local heron, so no fish left. Greg, fish, Labrador, 2 chickens now, getting more soon. I'm getting some chickens soon as well. Stuart says, no pets anymore. Chickens became hard. It's hard when I'm away to find somebody to look after them. The dog will come when I retire, hopefully. Get the right breed of dog is all I can say. Wife's dog is a district nurse attacker. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Nicola, cats, ducks, chickens, no shires now, but maybe getting mini donkeys and mini cows. Fantastic. Scott says, don't have any pets, but would love a dog, but don't have time to commit to it. When it comes to dogs, you've got to make sure that you have the time to commit to it. Right, let's have a look at your photos quickly because there's a good collection, and then we'll get into some gardening questions. I think this is just a good opportunity to take a few minutes to look at your photos. So, what have we got? First of all, Steve, he's not happy with the weather because it looks like it's, in his area, been forecasting for rain again. It looks like it's going to rain all week, doesn't it? Which is getting really, really annoying. As I said, don't mind the cold weather. The wind and the rain is what annoys me. Chili Kate, she's had a lovely afternoon on the allotment. Look at those bright blue skies. I wish we had more of that here. We've just had wind and rain here. But looks lovely down there, it has to be said. And she's got this lovely gardening bag for her Christmas present. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? I'm quite jealous of this because I can see that being very, very useful. Jenny has got a new allotment, and we're looking forward to hearing more on this. She's posted a video in the group if you want to go and check it out. I love the way these are fenced off, these allotments. Very clear where the barriers or where your areas start and end. I like it a lot. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the future with this. Kate has found this in her seed catalogue. I think it was on DT Brown's. They've got a seed chart and the opportunities to make notes and keep a list of things that you are sowing as well from DT Brown's. Arrived free through her door. I think I've had one arrive. I haven't opened it just yet. Ian, he has shared this guide on how many plants to grow to feed a family. I always say these have to be taken with a bit of a pinch of salt. I noticed it said for asparagus 10 plants. Well, that depends on how much asparagus you like and how big your family. But as a rough guide, I think it is a good idea. Bethan has harvested all these chilies this week. Look fantastic. Isn't it amazing to be harvesting chilies in the middle of December, end of December even? And always makes me laugh when people say it's too cold for certain plants, when actually they go and show you that there is no real rule book. It's all about listening to Mother Nature. Arthur has found these books under his Christmas tree. They are Attracting Wildlife to Your Garden and the Essential Garden Planner with 2024 Diary. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It'll be interesting to see what goes on inside this planner. And finally, Viv has shared this flyer for 2024 CD Sunday on February the 4th, 2024 at Brighton. There's no entrance fee this year. It is in Brighton Open Market. And there are a few talks and things going on as well. I'm actually involved on a panel discussion there as well. So if you are in Brighton or heading to this, please do come along. Let me know if you're going as well, and we'll see what we can do to hook up and have a chat. So please do keep sharing your photos. You can post them in our Facebook group. You can send them to me via social media, or you can email me, richard@theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk. That's richard@theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk. So let's get back to the comments. Jenny says, hoping to get chickens on the plot soon. Fantastic. You won't regret it. Comments are fantastic. Nicola says, 5 cockerels, 10 chickens, 2 dicks. Excuse me. And 2 bantams. Stuart says, don't forget to like and thumbs up. Please do remember to like and thumbs up, everyone. It's always good to get that going. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. And don't forget to click the notifications so that you know when we go live. Nigel says, is anyone aware of any Potato Day events for 2024? I'm not at the moment, but I'm seeing potatoes already for sale inside garden centres already. So if you are looking to buy your potatoes, go out and check them out now. Highgrave Gas, being Simon back in the other room at our friends. We'll catch up later. Have a great new year, everyone. You have a good time, buddy. Lovely to see you. Right, let's get back to... So I'm going into sort of gardening-based questions a bit more now. What is your favourite gardening book? I found this a very difficult one to answer. I guess for me it's got to be Alan Titchmarsh's what I call the Bible. I can't think what it's called, but it was written by Alan Titchmarsh. It's a thick book. It pretty much covers every single vegetable out there. I would probably say that's my favourite gardening book. I think it's something like the Veg Gardener or the Kitchen Gardener or something like that. All I know, it's written by Titchmarsh. But if you've got a favourite gardening book, then please do share it with us. There's quite a few good books out there on the market as well, isn't there? And especially the last couple of months, there's always more that pop up. Well, the question is, what does make a good gardening book? Good question, is it? What does make a good gardening book? Obviously, that's not a question for tonight. That might be a question for a future show. Right. Kate says, there is a potato day in Nottingham on the 27th of January. Digwell says, not seen any advertised yet. I haven't seen any potato days advertised yet. But as I said, they seem to be selling these potatoes quite early at the moment. I'm personally hoping that somebody's going to be doing a single seed potato challenge this year as well, so to get involved in. Gary says allotted. Oh no, he says sorry, allotted by time by Robin Sheldon. Not heard of that, but I'll be interested to know more on that. Brian says I'm very easygoing as gardening books go. Yeah, there's so many, isn't there? Gary asks, what is a potato day? A potato day is basically a day where you can go and buy seed potatoes. Excuse me. A bit like a seed swap, but they actually sell seed potatoes. They have a wide collection of seed potatoes, more than what you would get in a garden centre or garden shop. So good one there. Stuart Jackson says Jeff Hamilton's Basic, great book. He was years ahead of his time. Jeff Hamilton, of course, bit before my time, but I hear a lot of good things about him. Jeff Hamilton's garden course, useful as a resource, brought it just after he died in 1999. Bethan says DG Hessian How to Grow Vegetables, really good collection of how to grow all veg, and it has colourful diagrams and good illustrations of pests and disease. Fantastic. Digwell, did you not watch my short video at the Veg Grower podcast? I haven't watched the video. I saw there was a post on Facebook, so I haven't watched the video. I've been very busy. I will check that out after this show. Scott says Sarah and Monty Don Dual Gardening. Not really a gardening book, proper gardening book. Allotment month by month by Alan Buckingham. I've got that book somewhere as well. Good stuff. Richard Garden, Fav Gardening book. James Wong's Homegrown Revolution. P.S. I will meet you at Brighton in Feb. Yes, we meant to meet up last year. We couldn't do it. Make sure we meet up this year because I've wanted to meet you for quite a while. Anna Jones says, for basic stuff, Dr. D.G. Hessayon books are very good. Two people have recommended that. Rebecca says, just had Rika's gardening book for Xmas. Can't pot it down. Love Rika. She's lovely, isn't she? Chili Kex says, too many books to choose from. Currently reading Rika Mysteries' new book, Rika's Kitchen Garden. Fantastic. Turbo Stream, my potato day is Friday from the local chippy. Digwa says SSPC 2024 coming soon. Fantastic. Jenny says Alice Fowler has a fantastic book for polyculture style growing. I have so many. Another fantastic book is Epic Tomatoes. Barnsdale down the road from me. Jeff is still very much here. Fantastic. Turbo Stream, don't forget my video. I haven't forgotten your video. I'm saving that for just a moment. Nicola, Charles Dowding's No Dig Gardening, and Stuart Jackson, Yes Bethan, great books. Hessian Collect is time with good, easily understood information. Fantastic. So I'm going to throw these because time's getting on. We've done quite a bit. I'm going to throw these three questions. I want to know what your favourite fruit, vegetable, and herbs are. Now these could be what you grow your own or what you just like to eat. Again, this is a very subjective question, but it kind of relates to everything that we do. Favourite vegetable for me, probably asparagus. Love asparagus, delicious and what have you. Favourite fruit, chilies, without a question, although strawberries are up there as well. And favourite herb, probably rosemary. Love the smell, love the taste of rosemary. I use it a lot. I've got to get some new rosemary plants actually. So three of my three favourite there. Nicholas says Charles Dowding's No Dig Gardening, good book. I mean, any book by Charles Dowding's can be pretty good, to be fair. Stuart's Yes Bethan, great books. Nigel says Hessian Collect is timeless with good, easily understood information. Yeah, I don't know if I've got any of his books. Graham says I have all the Charles Dowding books, all very good. I'm with you on that. Turbo Stream, I have a few of the DG Hessian books too. Fantastic. Tomato, potato, a deal. Tomatoes, Digwell's favourite fruit, potato, veg, deal, herb. Nigel says veg, Brussels sprouts, fruit, strawberries, don't grow herbs. Turbo Stream says fruit, raspberry, veg, onion, herb, probably mint. Belly seed, potatoes, strawberries, and chives. Bethans, onion, raspberries and basil. Graham, first new potatoes, raspberries and thyme. Scott says gooseberries, sprouts and tarragon. Stuart Jackson says carrots, thyme, strawberry are my 3. I'll keep these answers coming in. So please do type them in as you can. So what I mean, we've still got 20 minutes plus to go, but we've got a video to show you in just a second. But before I show this video, I'm going to set everybody a little bit of homework to do each week. I think we tried doing this in the past, but I want to really try and do it, bring it back again. So my homework for everybody to do tomorrow, I want you all to go to your garden, your allotment, with a camera and just take a photo of your garden allotment at the beginning of the year. Now the reason I say that is that we tried doing this in 2023, but I was poorly organised coming to the end of the year to put this all together. But TurboStream has actually sent me a video over of his gardening throughout the year, which we'll play in just a moment. And that's what I want to try and do for 2024. But we need to start off. So your homework for this week is to go out into the garden and just take a photo. Quickly before I show the video, Nicola says strawberries, raspberries and mint and Brussels sprouts. Jenny says squash, sweet potatoes, can't choose, strawberry and olive herb. Chili field, potato, chili and coriander. I knew chilies had to be in there somewhere. Anna Jones says strawberries, carrot and sage. Oh, sage, lovely. Chili Kate says rhubarb, chilies and oregano, depending on how you pronounce it. Digrat says, is it basil or basil? Basil. Kate says carrots, blueberries and rosemary. Good choices. Brian says veg, cabbage, fruit, raspberry and herb is rosemary. Good choice. Kate says, lol, mine will be rather dramatic change. I'm moving house. Fantastic. That's what we want to see. How your garden starts off at the beginning of the year and how it ends up with. That's what I want to do. Rebecca says the pea is so underrated but goes with absolutely everything. Coriander is lovely and fruity. Fruit is a hard one. I love them all. Yes, I know it is a hard one. Right, let's have a look at this video that Adrian has sent in. It's a good one. I have to say, I've watched this and thoroughly enjoyed it. Lovely, lovely video indeed. Isn't it great to see that? That's the sort of thing I'm going to try and do a bit more throughout 2024, is take these photos and try and almost on a monthly basis show how the garden's gone through the month, and then at the end of the year put it all together and create that. Absolutely fantastic tapestry. Really, really thank you so much for that. It's definitely what I like to see. And I can see actually it's going down very, very well in the comments. So Chili Kate says, great video. I have all my photos now. Just need to pop them together. Please do and send it in. Love to see it. Kate says, great video. Fantastic. Digwell says, nice one, Turbo Stream. Jenny says, great video. Stuart Jackson says, great video. I love seeing other gardens. Helps me plan. So thank you indeed. Great video, Liz, says Scott. Digwell says, what? No lettuce? Nicola says, what a great collection of shots through the year. Like the music too. Yeah, like the music. We've just got to be sometimes a bit careful when it comes to music on videos on this. I'm not monetized anyway, but it might cause issues. So if you are going to put music on it, get it from the YouTube video library ideally. If you want any help, email me and I'll see what I can do. Bethan says, great video, Turbo Stream. And Nigel says, lovely video, Adrian. Facebook's, this is Rebecca, sorry. Oh, love that. It was great to see the plot changes over the years. This is what I want to try and get everybody to do, is see how your plot changes throughout the years. As Kate said earlier, it's going to be a dramatic change. That's fantastic. That's what we want to see. And what you start with and what you end up with. You know, a year is a long time. Excuse me. Anna says, fantastic. Table Stream says, cool, grow lettuce, Digwell. Jenny says, sorry, I stopped taking photos this year before I moved. I had to cut it all to the ground and it really upset me. But 2024 is a year. Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard to sort of keep the motivation to keep taking these photos, but it is so good. When you see that result, you know, we could do an entire show just showing off these videos. Yeah. Toby Stream, thanks everyone. I enjoyed it too. And Stuart Jackson says, I wish I had the IT skills to make a video like that. It's not that difficult, Stuart. As I said, I can sit down with you one day and show you how to do it if need be. Or get your kids to do it at school with you as part of a gardening project. As a thought. How does that sound? Right, we have got 15 minutes to go of this show, and next week we return sort of back to normal. Not that there's anything wrong. I've really enjoyed this show tonight, actually. Getting to know everyone and asking all the questions and finding more about everybody out there. It's been really good. Really, really good, I have to say. So next week, I need a subject of that you want to discuss next week. I need you to set me a mission and a seed that we can sow next week as well. I mean, I could start making these up myself, but I like it when you have the input and start sharing with me the things that you want to do. I can think of a few ideas if you want, but let's see what anybody comes out with. By the way, has anybody got any New Year's resolutions to do with their garden that they're starting from tomorrow? Let me know what you're doing. Turbo Stream says it's a great thing to look back on to see what you do achieve. I agree with that. I do agree with that. It is good to look back on and see what that happens. Turbo Stream says get the kids to do it, Stuart. End of year task for them. Yeah, just get them to get involved right throughout the year as well, because you can do it with your, sorry, I'm telling you what to do, but the way I see it, you can do it at school as well. Get them to take photos and to try and start putting them on a monthly, then yearly collection. Bethan says, congratulations on hitting 1K subs, which I've just noticed. Well deserved. Thank you. Yes. I'll be honest, I don't really work on YouTube as hard as I should. So, yeah, I hit 1K the other day. I haven't put an actual video out throughout December either, which is a bit annoying, but we're going to do that. Stuart Jackson said, thanks, Richard. That sounds like a plan. Slave labour. Exactly. They know how to do it, and you can learn from them. Nicholas is not sure I'm going to CD Sunday this year in Brighton. That's a shame. Be nice to see you, but if you can't, you can't. Buy more seeds, plant more flowers too, as a New Year's resolution. Nigel says, don't do New Year's resolutions. Only disappointment a few days later. Yeah, I've struggled with this. I want my garden to look better, be more aesthetically pleasing is the only thing that my New Year's resolution is, I guess. Although I'm trying to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? More organised and more tidier as well. Again, my ADD doesn't help with that. Rebecca says, off topic, Richard, but I've just bought Lee's Gardening Club program for my gardening club at school. Very excited to start it with the kids. Fantastic. That is really, really good to know. I'll give Lee a call one day and let him know about it. Digwell says, we are all conned into it. We were all conned into it. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. No resolutions, never keep them. Indeed. Stuart Session, this year I wanted to do more gardening at home for myself, not other people. Good one actually. Digwell says, my New Year's resolution, watch less live shows at 6 p.m. on Sunday evenings. Well, what would you do instead? Plus, where would we be without you? Gary says, to be more organised and more consistent. Yeah, good one. Jenny says, topic, how to set up a new allotment, or how do you manage your allotment? What would you change if you could start it? That's right. How allotment tips. Should we put that down? Allotment tips. How's that for a subject for next week? Manage and start again. How does that sound? How does that sound as a subject for next week? I like that. Turbo Stream says, New Year's resolution is to watch less YouTube and do more gardening and cycling and a few more holidays. You know what? I kind of agree. I don't watch much YouTube, as I said time and time again. For me, it's more about... I'm too busy, but that's ADD for me as well. I've got too much going on, sitting down. But there is a lot to be said for YouTube. I have to say, lots to be said for watching YouTube. Nicholas has just been diagnosed with adult ADD. Explains a lot, doesn't it just? Doesn't it just? Stuart, topic for next week. How has gardening changed from when you started to now? I think we're going to do the allotment one next week, but save that for the week after if you suggest it the week after. Jenny says, suits me great. Nigel says, remember to do the things I promised to do. Does that include give us a thumbs up and like and follow and subscribe and all that jazz? Bristol Veggie Gardens. I want to get better at regular sowing seeds instead of too much in one go. That's a good one, actually. That is a very good one. I'd like that resolution, actually. I like that a lot. But then Rebecca says, mine's growing more winter veg. I grow so much in the summer, but I have nothing now. Yeah, we've all done it. It is tricky. Nicholas says, or I can blame it on ADHD. Yeah, you can. Scott says, this year be more organised and build big shield build / allotment kitchen. Indeed. Ian says, Trish has brought me an LED hydroponic growing system, so I need to get grips with that. Oh, I'd love to see some photos of that, Ian. They are good. They are good. Toby Stream says, low maintenance allotment tips would be useful. We'll throw that in there as well. Allotment like pay for paprika seeds. Yes. Yes. We all do that, don't we? Being stuck in a chair, YouTube is great for me. I like to help people with problems completely. Like that Bristol Veg. New Year's resolution is to learn how to grow lettuce Digwell. I like it. And Kate says, I will not sow things too early like I do every year. Interesting discussion there. A lot of arguments in some of the groups going on I've seen where people are saying it's far too early to sow any seeds, and other people are saying, but Monty was sowing seeds, tomato seeds. It's you'll hear, if you're a member of our supporters club, I actually discussed this in tonight's supporters club podcast. It's a very clear answer. It depends on the seed and what your conditions are. That's my underlying thing on that. Another thing I must remember, sow the oldest seeds first. Stop wasting money. Yep. And Nicholas says, interplanted and seedlings are ready to go into gaps. Fantastic. So we've sorted out the subject, allotment tips and how you manage and And what would you do if you started again? I'll try and work this out into some sort of questioning during the week. Well, what mission, what challenge can you set me for next week? Something interesting, something really good. Am I on call? I'm not on call next weekend, so I have got a bit of time next weekend to do this, and I want a seed to sow over this next week as well that you can set me. Anything that you want me to sow in particular, um, let us know. Let us know. Um, what have we got? What have we got? Nicholas says interplanted and seedlings ready to go in gaps. It's a good one actually. It's a good thing to practice. Turbo Stream, YouTube is great, but I watch too much of it. Need to concentrate on other stuff instead. Yeah, I know how you feel. Rebecca says, I think people should sow seeds whenever you like and garner however you like. I've learned so much from my mistakes. Thank you. I've always said that you learn more from the mistakes than when you do things wrong. And this year it's quite mild. I think last year it was quite cold. So seeds weren't going to do so well when it's cold. As I said, it's so many factors involved. I just don't like it when people start shouting at people that they're doing something wrong. I don't like that. It's very much about let's show some camaraderie. Let's all work together and help each other. Nigel says sow celery. Celery, that's a very good one that I can sow. Yes, I will do that. Jenny says Claire from Claire Grows Potty did tomato seeds in the milk bottom method over winter. Worked well and they grew slow but strong. So maybe Monty isn't wrong. Monty isn't wrong. You can sow tomato seeds in January, especially if you've got a heated greenhouse. That's all I can say. Nicola, sweet peas, carrots. We've got sweet peas and we sowed carrots a couple of weeks ago. Turbo Stream challenge: do a Sundance to stop this blooming rain. Haven't done any winter jobs yet. Do you want me to do a Sundance? How does that sound? Well, Stuart Jackson says, how about pruning as a challenge? Digwell also says pruning black currants. And Scott says celery. Oh, celeriac. Yeah. We've got celery, I think so. We're going to sow celery. Rebecca says, are you sowing any sweet peas, Richard? It's a wild card to sow next week. I've already got sweet peas growing. I could sow some more, of course, but we'll see what happens on that. I think celery we're going to sow next week, but what do you want, pruning or the Sundance? Let me know. Nigel says the BBC pays Monty's heating and lighting. This is it. And Monty does need things ready early because you've got to remember they film 2 weeks before the video or the Gardener's World is shown. So he's got to have all these plants ready for filming 2 weeks before the rest of us. So he does do things a little bit early. But I come back to the fact he does have, well, I think he has heated greenhouse. I assume he does as well. Digwell says starting off too early just means you have to find somewhere to grow them on early too. Kind of my point. You know, if you haven't got a heated greenhouse, it's not much point. Find some alternative growing containers for recycling. Yeah, I like that actually. Turbo Stream, I need to prune my fruit, so pruning would be a good subject to cover. Jenny says I've sown onions and sweet peas. Sundance whilst pruning. That would be worth a watch. Sundance while pruning. Sundance while pruning. We're going to do that. While pruning. We're going to do that. If I haven't used your ideas, please don't be offended, but you can save it for next week and we'll have a bit of a vote on the top ones for what you want me to do. Jenny says, I have sown onions and sweet peas. Oh no, I've read that one. Nicholas says cucumber seeds. Very early for cucumbers, very early. Kate says I've celery still going. It's got about 2 inches and then stopped growing. Will it still grow? I would say it's probably not going to grow much more. My celery is still outside and it is decent size. I've got so much of it. We harvested some for Christmas, of course, but celery that I sowed last January is there. So yeah, will it still grow? Possibly, I don't know. Digwell says, and this is where I will be sowing my tomatoes in 2 weeks' time. Exactly, exactly. This is what I what you got to remember when it comes to these sort of TV shows is that they're making a video about gardening. Anna Jones, thumbs up for pruning. Pruning would be interesting. I have to sow my tomatoes super early or they don't ripen in my garden. You know your own garden, what works for you completely. And this is exactly what I've said when I see these arguments going on, is that it's no good, no good getting uppity about it. Everybody's different and people learn from their mistakes. Nigel says hardening off plants, that would be a good one to do sort of March to May time, wouldn't it? If you can remember that, write it down or something, and we'll put that in as a follow-up nearer the time. Digwell likes that. Nicholas says, so do cukes to grow indoors on other some do cukes to grow indoors on other shows I've watched. Again, if you've got something to grow indoors, then that's great. I would still say it's a little bit too early. They get leggy because they're quite quick to grow. I would say they get a little bit leggy, but again, this is seeds that you want me to sow. Don't let me just decide for you. Kate, Nigel says to Kate, I think it will be stringy with what grows due to lack of light and low temps. Stringy, what was that? Where was that? Yeah, talking about the celery, that is. And when they take off, where do you pot them? They grow a foot away. This is it. This is the trouble, is gardening is, there's not an answer for everybody. Gardening, everybody has their own garden. That is always different, and not everything will work for, not everything that works for one works for everybody else. I think that's the polite way of saying it. People are letting off fireworks to celebrate my birthday. Isn't it nice of them, says Ian. Indeed it is, Ian. They're even letting them off down here for you, believe it or not. Thanks, Muddy. Nigel, I really struggle with celery. Celery is coming out in January's gift pack as well for members of the supporters club. So you will have celery to sow in January as well. Keep indoors, Digwell, says Nicola. Gary says happy birthday, Ian. Anna Jones says happy birthday, Ian. And Jenny says happy birthday. And Ian Beddoes, happy birthday. Digwell says having good luck, no real space for 6 to 8 inch canes in my house. Yeah, it's all subjective, isn't it? This is the arguments that I see going on in these groups where people are saying it's far too early to sow these seeds. It depends. There's no right or wrong. It's what's right for you. I think that's how we'll sum it up. It is 7:30. This has been an absolute pleasure again tonight. I mean, it's always a pleasure talking to you guys, but it's been a real pleasure to get to know each and one of you a little bit better. I hope it's worked for you guys and you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give us a like. Please do give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notifications to let us know, so that you know when we go live. We will be back again at 6 o'clock next Sunday, where we are going to be talking about allotment tips. We're going to be sowing celery. We're going to be doing a sun dance while pruning. And your homework, as I said, take a photo of your allotment or your garden. We will get back into, next week we will be back into the gardening content. Last 2 weeks, still gardening content, but a bit more loose, a little bit more fun. Right guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, as I said. You take care. I've just set myself up to get out of here. You take care. And I will see you again next Sunday, 6 p.m. Take care.